Welcome back everyone to the Japan and Korea tour. We have a pretty exciting park visit today, and that's Universal Studios Japan. This is a bucket list park, and I can't believe I finally made it here. It's one of the most attended parks in the world. I think at least top 5, right Jack?
Oh yeah, it's like around 5 or 6, I think, maybe even higher than that. It's ridiculous the crowds this place gets. And if you look around right now, we're in City Walk. The train dropped us off directly in City Walk, very convenient. And it feels like we're in Hollywood right now. It doesn't quite feel like Florida City Walk, more so like Hollywood. It's very cool.
To combat those heavy crowds though, you have a ton of single rider lines dispersed throughout this park, which is going to make our lives a lot easier because we're going to be willing to suck it up and ride solo. Now that being said, I don't think any of us were super amped for this park because a lot of their rides are unoriginal. You can find them at other Universal parks. However, they do have a pretty great roller coaster lineup for a Universal park, anchored by Flying Dinosaur, which might be one of the greatest roller coasters in the entire world actually. It's a flying coaster from Bolliger & Mabillard that's supposed to be by far the best of its genre. It has some of the most intense inversions on Earth. I can't wait to experience that. They also have Hollywood Dream, which is a Bolliger & Mabillard hyper coaster on the miniature level, and they also have an indoor spinning coaster too that I've heard good things about. Looking past that, their dark ride lineup, while not quite as good as some of the other Universal parks out there, does continue to grow over time. You of course have that new Nintendo World area. We've seen Nintendo at a bunch of different Universal parks at this point, at least most of the group has, and so that's not going to be a super high priority for us. Plus at this park you need to get a priority entry time ticket, so that could be a little bit of a hassle, but we'll see what we can do there. It would be fun to get on Donkey Kong. They have a cool coaster back there. And then of course, like Harry Potter Land, you have like Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, which is an incredible dark ride, but you know, like everything else dark ride wise is unoriginal, and if we have to skip them, not a big deal. And then of course you have Jaws the ride, sleeper hit in this park, and it's the only one left in the world. We used to have this at Universal Studios Florida. When I was a kid, I actually rode it there, but yeah, it's gonna be super fun to reunite with that attraction. I know Jack in particular is super excited for it.
Oh yeah, I'm hyped for that one. It's a unique attraction where they actually have a cast member working the ride, like Jungle Cruise or something, or the Great Movie Ride, something like that.
Evan and Zai are somewhere behind. They are getting here a little bit late. I believe Josiah has a different plan in mind today. He's actually gonna head straight to Nintendo, whereas we're gonna head straight to Flying Dinosaur in the back of the park. But here you go, Universal Studios Japan opened in 2001, my first Universal park outside of the United States, home of 6 different roller coasters. Let's get this party started. Dude, this entry Main Street area is sick. A lot like some of the other Japanese parks, it's covered in case of inclement weather, so if it's rainy, you come over here and chill. Like said, heading to the 2016 B&M Flying Coaster Flying Dinosaur first. Here's a view of that whole layout out in front of us. It's unbelievable. 5 inversions, and it has basically 2 pretzel loops, with that first one, which is like a fly to lie, into a half pretzel, and then a full pretzel right there. Also, that drop looks insanely steep. I can't wait for it. Heading here first is pretty smart because it's way in the back of the park, so the line's pretty short for the first, I don't know, hour that the park is open. That's at least what I've heard. So far, initial impressions are good, but not great. I don't know why they're playing all this pop music. It's so generic to me, and they have all these amazing soundtracks lined up in their playlists that are just kind of shuffling through this. Another thing, Universal is very strict about filming on ride on their roller coasters, so I won't be able to record any POVs on Flying Dinosaur, Hollywood Dream, and probably also the spinning coaster. So for those, I'll try to find Universal official POVs and insert those in the video so you guys can at least get a sense of what the ride experience is like, and then of course we'll hit you with the review when we're off. Woo! Let's head on a Flying Dinosaur, one of our most anticipated coasters of the entire trip, and hopefully the rest of the group is able to catch up with us too. that's a coaster that meets expectations. My God, that was intense. That is my favorite flying coaster I've ever done. It overtook Fly at Fantasyland. It's the most intense flyer for sure. It's one of only 2 flying coasters in the world from this manufacturer that has 2 pretzel loop-like elements, the other being in China, but it's on a much smaller scale, so you probably don't feel the force quite as much as you do on this. Let me go through the whole layout. The drop is great, cool airtime over that. It's just ridiculously steep, feels like a nosedive. That first inversion was my most anticipated part of the ride. You roll over and then head into a half pretzel loop. That is super intense and definitely met expectations, but the most surprising element on the ride to me was actually the full-size pretzel loop, aka the second one, where you dive into the tunnel. That is stupid. You go through that with so much speed, and then the bottom of it feels like you're about to die. You can try holding your head up, but it won't work. Your whole body is gonna be crushed into your seat. And then the second half also impressed me too. There's 2 really solid airtime moments, and there's a helix with some good force on it, followed by a great inversion to end out the ride. That was killer. Absolutely incredible coaster, and the 3rd best in Japan so far. We're getting on Jurassic Park, the ride up next. You can do a single rider line to skip a good chunk of this queue, and I think all the boys are out here, so I'll try to get their reaction soon.
That was absolutely insane. It's easily my favorite flying coaster. Normally, I'm not like a huge fan of flying coasters, but that's the exception. The pacing is ridiculous. Most flying coasters feel kind of graceful, like even Atsu. Almost every element is just crazy intense. The positives are absurd. There's airtime pops on it. The biggest shock for me, because normally when I ride new coasters like this, I try not to watch a POV going in, so I didn't remember every element that was on it. The second pretzel loop totally caught me off guard. We're just flying, and then all of a sudden, it goes kind of to the side a little bit and throws you down, and I thought that was amazing. Honestly, I easily like that more than Tatsu's pretzel loop. I don't care if Tatsu's is bigger. I thought that was more enjoyable and honestly kind of crazier too. That's a masterful layout. I think it's absolutely the 3rd best coaster in Japan.
Here's the boys. What'd you guys think?
Oh, I loved it. We did it up at the very front. So I do want to get a back row ride because these guys are raving about the back and everything, but the front was still absolutely amazing. I love that flying feeling and then wind in your face and being able to see the elements as they come at you, and all the elements are so cool. It's so different than any other B&M flyer. Like the elements on there are just absolutely nuts. They definitely like tried to do like the craziest flying layout ever, and it's awesome. All the elements on there just blew my mind. There's not a weak part of that ride. It's so good.
Oh yeah, I rode that 2 years ago. I only got 1 ride when I came and I loved it. It became my favorite flyer. I just got a front row on this, but a back row on this is my favorite flyer in the world. So I'm excited to re-ride that later and reconfirm that thought process, but I really do enjoy it.
So we're about to get on utilizing the single rider line. This is the old Jurassic Park theme, so it's not Jurassic World. No upgrade like Universal Studios Hollywood got. This is more akin to what you see at Islands of Adventure in Florida. Also, this got an upgrade. It was closed from September 2023 actually all the way through until the beginning of this year. So it was closed for a while. So I think it's gonna have a lot of improvements, and I'm really looking forward to experiencing it. Oh yes, I love this thing. Sick ass boat ride. What is that sound effect I'm hearing from back there? What in the world? Also, you gotta love that we used a single rider line and our whole group got on the boat. Through the arch, and the epic music starts rolling. There we go. Bro is aura farming. Look at him go. Oh, whoa, right up against us. Prohibited area, no tours allowed. It's so weird being on this ride that we're so familiar with in Japan. Oh no, the dinosaurs are rattling the cage. Oh no! Whoa! Don't drop! Whoa! Looks like we're in trouble. Oh man, this is sick. Oh no, he's spraying us! No! Oh no! The T-Rex is pissed! Oh my god! Oh! Love that amount of water. Beautiful. Woo! That drop is amazing. Jurassic Park was badass. Love that thing. Love that they kept it the same as the original. Really good effects and a lot of animatronics that are working phenomenally well. This park, you can tell they really take care of this ride. And it makes for an incredible 1-2 punch in this area with Flying Dinosaur directly next to it. There it goes. That thing is so intense. I cannot believe that ride still.
I love how they didn't do Jurassic World. They just kept it the same as the OG Jurassic Park, and it's still as good as ever. I love that ride.
Jurassic Park was awesome. Same as the old version that used to be in Hollywood before they transformed that into Jurassic World. And while I think that was a pretty good retheme, I still like the original better. And that was actually my favorite iteration of all the different Jurassic Park boat rides. Everything was working. Loved the classic theme that was themed to the original 1993 movie, which is easily the best one.
I love Jurassic Park. Probably one of my favorite, maybe my favorite theme park IP. I think it's so fun. I love the movies, all of them.
We've now entered our next land, Amity Island. This is the Jaws themed section of the park. I didn't even know they had one. I knew about the Jaws ride, but I didn't know they had a whole area based around that IP. That's so cool. Of course, now it's original to this park, which is really cool because this park doesn't have a ton of original rides at the moment. this is sick. We're in a shed. God! Oh no! Oh no! He's back! Oh! No! 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 Whoa! Where are we going? Oh, he's pulling up again! He pulled up again! Oh no! Oh! Shoot him! Oh, shoot him! Shoot him! Jaws was so cool. I can't believe that's still here and they maintained it so well. I wasn't expecting to see the shark on that many different occasions. It was rad, dude. And also, you get wet at different points. There's like explosions in the water and you definitely feel it. And the fire effect too? Oh my gosh. The theming was sick. Amazing ride.
Oh my gosh, that was amazing. What an iconic ride, dude. That was so sick. I really enjoyed that a lot. Like, I'm doing that again later, 100%.
That was so good. That's actually my favorite in the park. As a big dark ride fan, big movie fan, they absolutely did Jaws right with this ride. I love how they made their whole like little area too for Amity Island. So cool. Oh my gosh, I love having the live cast member on the ride. That was so good.
Jaws blew me away. Oh my gosh, that's definitely my favorite ride here. I think outside of Flying Dino so far, I like that more in Jurassic Park. That blew me away. The shark animatronics are so good on that. All the effects are working. Oh man, I was just blown away by that. So much fun. I'm so glad I got to finally check that off my list.
I didn't realize here that Nintendo almost feels like its own theme park within a theme park. This is the line to show that you have an entry time to enter the land. What in the world? And if you want to do standby, well, best of luck, but it's probably not happening. We're gonna try to get in here. We were able to get a time for 10:50 and it's 10:30 right now. Hopefully they let us in a little bit early and we're gonna try to brave the queue of Donkey Kong Minecart Madness, a ride that I just actually got to experience for the first time at Epic Universe, but it is a really fun ride, really cool coaster technology on that. Only downside is, yeah, that queue line is gonna be absurdly long. And then if you want to do Mario Kart in addition, you might not even have enough time. I don't think there's a window necessarily where you need to be out by a certain time, but they're both just going to be outrageously long. You're going to be in this land for such a long time that I don't know if it's worth it at that point. So we're probably just going to do Donkey Kong today. So change of plans. We had our time slot for entry for 3 people, but Evan and Josiah were not in the park up to that point when we booked those. And so they only let 3 of us in. For those wondering who that secret third person is, that's our friend Alex, who we call Hagrid because he looks like the character from Harry Potter. He's the dude that you see in the background of all of our vlogs. He did join us for a bulk of the trip, but he's not necessarily a coaster enthusiast, which is why I didn't feature his reviews in any of the videos. But yeah, hopefully that clears some things up because I have seen a few comments asking who that is in the background. So Evan and I were able to book a time slot to go in later on today, but it'll have to wait for now. Evan and I have done Nintendo before, even the bigger version of the land that Epic Universe cloned from this park. So that's why we wanted to give them the opportunity to see it since they haven't done it before at all. So that'll be a fresh experience for them. I'm looking forward to checking it out later, but definitely it's just so slammed. And the fact that you need an entry ticket to just get into the land is absurd still at this park. Like all the other ones at this point you can just walk into. It's time to enter the wizarding world of Harry Potter, specifically Hogsmeade. This is one of the most immersive theme park lands in the entire world. We have this cloned at Hollywood. You can find it at Islands of Adventure in Florida, although they have Hagrid's, which we don't have here or at Hollywood. So we're gonna get on Forbidden Journey. That's their anchor ride in this land. Easily one of the most incredible dark rides in the world. We're gonna try to utilize their single rider line. So far, that's come in clutch in this park, and hopefully that one comes in clutch too, because back at home in the United States, you could literally walk on Forbidden Journey almost every time utilizing that single rider line. They also have a small coaster in this land called Flight of the Hippogriff. We'll see if we want to ride that. That looks like it might have a fat line too, and it's a small coaster, so I'd hate to waste my time on that, but it's also a credit, so we'll see, we'll see. Doesn't matter how many times I see this castle, it blows me away every time. That's an incredible feat of architecture for a theme park especially. One thing that Evan pointed out to me is that Universal Studios Japan, as well as the Beijing location in China, they're the only 2 Universal parks that have a Harry Potter land with a black lake. So you get that reflection of the castle, and that is an incredible photo op. So they told us that the single rider line is not currently open, but it should open around noon, which is in an hour. So in the meantime, we're actually going to do that Flight of the Hippogriff coaster I talked about from Vekoma. It's a 60-minute queue right now, which is definitely on the longer side, but it is okay. Right now, we're just trying to kill some time because the boys are in Nintendo doing Donkey Kong, which is probably about a 2-hour line right now. So in the meantime, we'll do this, and hopefully Forbidden Journey single rider comes up, and that'll be the game plan. Look at that castle. That's incredible. Oh my gosh, the most intense coaster on earth. Oh! Oh! That's actually pretty fun. Hey! Oh! Pretty zippy. Whoa! Oh! That was good fun. I enjoyed that. That was a good fun ride. I definitely enjoyed it. I think the theming is okay. Queue line and on ride, it's solid. The landscaping is nice, and it's just a fun layout too for a little family coaster. I did like that. Was it worth the wait time? It depends who you are, but I'm glad we got the coaster credit for sure.
But we got the coaster credit. It's a fun enough ride.
Oh, single rider's open. Oh, hey. Incredible news as we got off Hippogriff. It looks like we're gonna be able to walk on this pretty quickly here. Forbidden Journey time, baby. We just walked straight on the single rider line. Oh my gosh, it's so impressive. Whoa! It's accurate in Japanese. Oh, there's the dragon! Oh my gosh, the theming is through the roof. Oh! Whoa! Oh wow! Let's go, let's go, let's go! Oh, the first line! Wow, look at that! Oh no, oh no, oh no! There he goes! Woo. Let's send it! Hey, let's go! And that's a wrap! That's a wrap on Forbidden Journey! Awesome ride. Forbidden Journey is incredible. I love the dark ride. That being said, it's flawed nowadays because I feel like the screen quality is a little messy. It's not great. Hurts my eyes a little bit, makes me feel a little nauseous. And this isn't just a criticism about this version, it's all of them at this point. I remember riding it years ago and thinking the screen quality was much better, so it's a shame it's deteriorated over time, made the ride experience less enjoyable. Because I think all the practical stuff is absolutely amazing on that, and the technology is insane. It's an arm that just flings you in all sorts of different directions and points you at stuff. There's a great mix of screens and practical sets, and I think that blend is really well done.
I echo all the kind of same opinions that Mark has on that ride. I think it's absolutely amazing for most of the ride with all the physical sets, and the ride system is so cool and so awesome. I just wish the screen quality was better. If the screen quality was very high quality, it would be amazing. It would be a top 10 dark ride, maybe top 5 dark ride, but because it makes me actually a little sick because the screen quality is not that great, it makes me drop the ride a little bit, but it's still a fantastic ride. It's just hurt by the screens, but oh well.
I'm gonna grab some butterbeer. Line's pretty short for it. It's an expensive treat, but it's a must do every time. So freaking good. Initially, I was surprised to see that this was $6 US for a frozen butterbeer, whereas in America, it's more than double the price, I believe. But then I got it and I'm like, okay, now it makes sense. This portion is tiny. Now I'm fine with that, but I was just not expecting it. That makes the value here probably about the same as America, as it turns out, but the taste is to die for. Here we go. Probably my favorite beverage you can get in any theme park. Right now we're walking into Universal Studios Japan's kids area, and I'm really confused by what I'm seeing. I'm seeing Snoopy, I'm seeing Elmo, but apparently they do have the rights because there's also a roller coaster in this section called Snoopy's Adventure or something along those lines. It opened literally less than a month ago, which is pretty exciting, so I'm excited to experience like a brand new ride. It's in this indoor section of the park, which is so cool. And it reminds me of Tokyo Disney Sea, whose kids area also is part indoor as well. We finally made it on. I think we waited an hour for that, just like Hippogriff. That was pretty ridiculous. This is a new Vekoma. It's gonna be so smooth, smoother than Hippogriff, which is an older Vekoma. Oh yes. Oh, oh, it's so fun. Whoa, nice theming too. Oh yeah, love it. Very, very fun. That was pretty short. I wish they sent it around twice, but I understand the capacity is not great as is. They only run the one train on it, so that line would get fat. That being said, really good kiddie coaster. It's so smooth, so fun, flowy. I love that. That's the direction that Vekoma's been going. Their rides are so smooth nowadays.
Yeah, that was really fun. Super smooth, really solid kiddie coaster, but it just sucks we had to wait an hour for that.
Doesn't mean we're probably going to be able to get all the coaster credits in the park though, which is nice. Also, I love that indoor area. That's such a cool kids land. One thing that's quite interesting about Universal Studios Japan, especially compared to some other Japanese amusement parks that we've been to on the larger scale, is that this is like smack dab in the middle of a big city. Osaka is one of the largest cities in the world. And so the backdrop of the park is just giant skyscrapers, which is really cool. There's pros and cons for sure. It takes you out of the immersion a little bit, but it's definitely a neat visual. There's zero question about it.
Back row, flying Flying Dinosaur is my favorite flyer. It was so hard to beat Tatsu for me because I adore that ride. I mean, I have a little bit of nostalgic bias. I grew up with it, but you get airtime off the drop. The first inversion pulls, then you get whipped into the half pretzel loop, into an actual pretzel loop that's also kind of a variant of a pretzel loop. The whole ride is just non-stop ridiculousness. It's so much fun. It's so smooth.
Next on our radar today is actually not a ride, and it's crazy because we still have quite a few major events to experience, but we're actually going to take the time to do Water World. This is a really awesome show here. One of my favorites in any theme park, actually. In the States, is actually fairly unique. The only one you'll find in the US is at Universal Studios Hollywood. Overseas, it's at pretty much all the Universal parks, so there's not too much incentive to watching this. It's just such a good show that it's like, why not? And it's something to do to pass the time because we have Nintendo World admission right after this. Waterworld just kicks butt, man. That is one of the coolest, if not my favorite theme park show I've ever seen. And even though it was in Japanese, pretty easy to follow and understand. The stunts were so good, and I especially love the finale with the plane blasting through the top, causing all these explosions to go off. It is amazing. What an incredible experience.
I don't know if it's because I knew the story already, but I felt like it was relatively easy to follow even in Japanese. The explosions were cool. I think we had more explosions than our show, which was nice. The main character, evil guy or whatever, that they had the ball.
He was very antagonistic.
He was very good at his role, yeah. So it was fun to watch that and kind of see it again in a different light, but also the same idea.
About half the group decided to stay behind for Waterworld because they've seen it before, completely understandable. But our time to enter Nintendo World has come. Once it's time for your time slot, you have about an hour window to get in, and then you can take as much time as you want in the land.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
We're gonna go straight to Donkey Kong. Like I said, that's all we're gonna do in the land today. Here we go! Or I should say, let's go. The reveal never gets old. This is so ludicrous. The scale of this land is phenomenal. And there's so many things moving that it's just overstimulating. And this is one of 2 Nintendo Worlds that have been built that has the Donkey Kong Country expansion, the other one being at Epic Universe. So I have actually experienced Donkey Kong Minecart Madness before. I know generally what to expect, but I'll still tell you guys about the ride when we get over there because it's a very fascinating and peculiar attraction. Not gonna lie, this might be the most crowded section of any theme park I've been to in my life. But it actually makes sense. I mean, Nintendo's a Japanese company. All of these characters are super popular in Japan, so it does make sense, but it is just gnarly, bro. So here's Minecart Madness. It was the first ride of its kind to open in 2024. That also made it the world's first boom coaster. So essentially what this is that this minecart rides along a fake track that simulates a real track. And the reason that's able to work is because the minecart is held up by a arm. You can just see it beneath the car. It's really impressive how they were able to do it. Because of the distribution of forces, it does mean the ride is a little bit rough, which is weird for such a new ride, but nonetheless, it kind of makes sense within the theme of the ride, so it doesn't bother me too bad. Let's get a ride on this thing. I'm super excited. I'd also heard amazing things about this Donkey Kong sundae, so I got one and I'm bringing it in line, which is just so cool. Jack and Josiah had this earlier and they told me it was incredible and that I couldn't miss it. What's funny is I've already had a frozen butterbeer, so this is probably the most unhealthy day of my life. That's great. If you love banana, you're gonna love this. It has all these toppings on it. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of banana, but that is pretty solid. That's really good.
Weather, come on. If you couldn't tell by that announcement, Donkey Kong's operation has been suspended, but because of our time slot in the area, we can't leave. Otherwise, we risk not being able to ride it at all.
75 years later.
Woo! This is ridiculous. It's nighttime now. We were stuck in that queue line for 2 hours because of inclement weather. Now, it was a valid closure. There were some pretty severe thunderstorms. It actually formed completely randomly as a result of the humidity. It was one of those that just popped up. I mean, it wasn't forecasted at all. That being said, I'm just glad we got on it. Very problematic coaster, breaks down all the time, but cool that we were able to experience it here in Japan. And I will say this too, when I experienced this replica at Epic Universe, there were quite a few effects that weren't working for me, and this time everything was working. I've noticed that throughout this park as a whole, everything is super well taken care of. So as a result, I definitely enjoyed that experience at Donkey Kong more than before. The track jumping gimmick is very, very neat. I love it, and it's just a fascinating idea, and I really applaud them for their ambition. There's never been a ride quite like that before, and I think that's really impressive. Now, that being said, we only have an hour and a half to go, and we have 2 coasters to get on still. This is our only day at this park, so we really gotta go, go, go. I'm thinking up next, we do the spinning coaster. That's really high on my list, and then we'll end with Hollywood Dream the Ride. So as we head over to the next attraction, I do want to briefly talk about it because originally we weren't even expecting to ride it this trip. We were checking the park's planned maintenance closures, and one of those was Space Fantasy the Ride, the name of the spinning coaster. But literally yesterday, we noticed that the ride isn't closed. It's just undergone an overlay. Every summer they do an overlay on this attraction and completely change up the name and theme. Right now it is themed to Spyx Family, which is an anime that, believe it or not, I've actually seen some of. Probably one of, 3 animes that I've seen in my entire life. I haven't seen a lot of it, but I know about the characters and I happen to really like the show, and so I'll be able to connect with this theme a little bit, which is really surprising because it's a super Japanese theme. So while I would have loved to experience this as Space Fantasy the Ride, I'm just super thrilled that I get to do it at all. And under Spyx Family is pretty cool, but yeah, this originally opened in 2010 and I've heard amazing things actually. Right now this is an XR experience, essentially meaning it combines elements of virtual reality and augmented reality. I don't know what to expect. Frankly, I don't know if I can even get a POV video and insert it on screen to show you guys what this is about, because naturally you guys can't wear the VR, but I'll do my best to insert something and let you guys know how it is when I get off.
乗り込む際は手すりを持って足元の
僕資料は無事か。何？あいつが持ってる？何してんだよ。うわ！まずいもう追ってか！早く逃げて！アーニャさんに悪さする人は許しません。ナイスキャッチ！
I've got a decent bit to say about that spinning coaster, but first priority was to run over to Hollywood Dream and get in line before it closes for the night. Unfortunately, Hollywood Dream Backdrop, where you ride backwards, yes, they have that as an option, is closed already. Universal Studios Japan is known for closing their lines early, so I'm just celebrating the fact that I will walk away with every single coaster credit in the park. But yeah, to talk about that spinning coaster, super interesting experience. It was fun riding that in a day and age where virtual reality is more or less extinct on roller coasters worldwide, but they did it well there, and that was just an overlay too. That's not how the ride always is. I thought they synced it really well with the layout. You can tell that spinning coaster isn't anything special without the VR or without the theming that maybe is there outside of the overlay. But no, it was a super fun coaster, pretty tame overall, but there were a few surprise twists and turns here and there. But no, I am really looking forward to getting on Hollywood Dream up next. This is like the icon of the park. It's the front gate coaster that goes over the entrance. Opened in 2007, it's actually a Bolliger and Mabillard miniature hypercoaster, meaning it follows the layout of a hypercoaster, but doesn't technically reach 200 feet. But for all intents and purposes, it's basically a B&M hyper. Asia as a whole only has 2 B&M hypers, and technically neither of them are true hypers, so you gotta take what you can get in Asia. But one thing that I am really looking forward to with this ride is it has onboard audio. I desperately wish I was able to experience this backwards, but oh well, it's not the end of the world. Just the fact that I'm riding it at all is kind of a miracle given the weather delays earlier, so I'll see you guys at the end of our last ride at Universal Studios Japan. I am such a disgusting mess right now. Japan in the summer is no joke, but on a day like this, which has had basically no cloud cover as well as a thunderstorm, that humidity is off the charts. It is bad. Speaking of bad, we were able to listen to Bad by Michael Jackson on Hollywood Dream, and that was pretty cool. That ride, I would say, mildly exceeded expectations. I'm not a big fan of the layout. I think it's a little too small for the style of ride that it is. I think B&M hypercoasters naturally kind of need to be around 200 feet. This one's like 140, which is pretty minuscule for this ride type. That being said, the music does elevate the experience quite a lot. I'd say without the music, it would have been my least favorite B&M hyper, but with the music, I do prefer it to a couple. This actually had some really good airtime at a couple different points, as well as a very intense double helix midway through the ride that I really enjoyed. And it's consistently good throughout too. Nothing amazing, but just solid fun. And with that, I have every coaster credit in the park. Very happy about that. I will say this much, when I was going around that layout, I was thinking to myself, man, that would have been really fun backwards. I wish I got to do that backdrop, but other than that one little thing, I'm super happy with how the day went. It was a shame about the weather delay, of course, but other than that, I got on every ride I ever wanted to do here. And I'd say overall, I really like the park. It's my third favorite in Japan so far. That being said, it is probably the most flawed Universal park I've been to. I don't love the way this one is operated. It has a lot of policies that kind of tick me off. I'll be filming the train going through the station or a pre-show or something, and they get pissed at me for filming, and I'm like, what? I understand not wanting you to film on ride, of course, but that was so peculiar to me. Also, half of the employees are really friendly, and half of them just don't want to be here, it seems like. The other thing about this park I didn't love was the atmosphere, actually, which is weird. Usually Universal parks excel in atmosphere. I just went to Epic Universe, thought it was amazing in that department. This one, they're playing hip-hop music. I think I mentioned that briefly earlier on in the video, but that really kind of took away from the vibe of this park, which is weird because a lot of these areas have some incredibly intricate theming. This is one of the most themed parks I've ever been to, but the music just doesn't match the vibe. And in my opinion, one of the biggest things that differentiate an amusement park and a theme park is the music that you play. Regardless, with all that being said, I think the ride lineup is really good. I think they could use a few more standout dark rides to compete with the other Universal parks, but still a super fun time. Amazing day overall. I forgot to mention too, we met up with the boys again. We've reunited. We actually reunited for that ride on Hollywood Dream, which is in part why it was so much fun. But let's get some concluding thoughts. Jack, go ahead.
Yeah, I thought that was good fun. The layout isn't super strong, and it's also obviously a short ride in stature, which I think takes away from it. But some of those airtime hills definitely hit, and the music actually added quite a bit to that ride. And then for the park in general, I think this place is great. Definitely visit. They have a pretty stacked ride collection. Flying Dinosaur is amazing. Jaws, Super Nintendo World, and Harry Potter are both really good iterations of those lands. They're tucked away, immersive. My main issue with this park is that the rest of it is not immersive. You can see the buildings, which bugs me. They play pop music throughout the park, which bugs me. And I don't like the way it's ran with the operations. Closing the lines early, all the metal detection, like excessive amounts, loose article policies, all of that it really bugs me. So that honestly takes away from the park a decent amount.
Yeah, like, can we talk about the fact that there was 2 empty seats in the very back row of Hollywood Dream that we wanted to take, but instead they made us go to row 7. It's things like that that make this a less enjoyable experience that I would have liked.
The ride, way better than I remembered it. Musical scores always add. I don't care what anybody says, they always add. Decent airtime off the drop. The layout was cool. Park as a whole, this is my personal favorite Universal park. Keep in mind, I have not been to Epic Universe yet. There's a ton of rides for me that are super re-rideable. Jurassic Park, Jaws, of course Flying Dinosaur, and even Hollywood Dream. Like, that was cool, and I really wish we could come back and do backdrop, because obviously we didn't get that just now. I love this park. I thought it was great. I had a great time. Yeah, that's my review.
Oh, that last ride in Hollywood Dream was so much fun. We almost got back row, and we were playing Bad by Michael Jackson and just jamming out to it. It was so much fun. All 4 of us were just back there having the time of our lives. The airtime was actually really solid on that coaster. Not great. There's a couple hills that are really good, and I actually think it's a decent long layout, and I like how it goes over the water. It's really cool at night with the trains all lit. So yeah, I actually really enjoyed that. It's not elite, but a lot of fun. For the park itself, I love this place. There are some things that are annoying. The loose article policy here is just annoying. There's so many things that they're really strict about, and the employers are kind of rude, honestly, which is kind of surprising because the Disney Japanese parks were unbelievable as far as service goes. Maybe the best service of any park we've ever seen. Still like Islands and Epic Universe a little more, but this is definitely my 3rd favorite Universal park and one of my all-time favorites.
So some differing thoughts throughout the group. We overall all really like the park, but just little things here and there that could have made it an even more incredible day. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow. We've got a couple small parks that we're gonna be doing, so peace out, everyone.